Well, just got back from Jamestown. Me and Ma went and did the laundry, washed the car. Beautiful day again, although they say it's 70 something degrees. I don't think it is. I think it's 60 something. And kind of chilly actually sitting out here. I've had a design that I was going to do. I was going to do this in the rain. It rained for 2 weeks. I thought, well, one of these times I'll get out there and I'll turn the thing around, and I'll be looking out in the yard, and the water will be streaming off the awning, and it'll give it a whole new context. Well, quit raining. Now, it rains at night. It's been raining, right along, but it hasn't rained in the daytime, so I haven't been able to put my novel twist on this. But it's been going good. Mowed the yard yesterday. My trusty little mower I showed you in the last video. Blower motor in the Town and Country, the air conditioner blower motor on the front, quit working. And I pulled fuses and relays and banged on the dash. And actually, I was sitting out here in the yard and I banged on the dash, and here it came up, and then it quit right away. Well, I finally ascertained that it's in the switch. You got about 5 or 6 position switch down there, and I'm wriggling the switch back and forth, and all of a sudden, poof, there it went, and it quit, and I wheelie back, and I finally got it kind of in between, on the switch, you got little indicators, 1, 2, 3, 4 for speed, and I got in between a couple of them, and hey, it came on and it stayed on, so it's the switch. Should be a fairly cheap fix, inexpensive. Nothing's cheap. But Josh put a new motor in that air conditioner last summer. It quit completely, and I thought it was a little premature for that new motor to quit. So apparently the switch has died, but if you want to mess with it, you can get it going. Dialysis is going good. I'm about to run out of my buttonhole needles. I brought 50 with me, and I've got enough to go to the end of this week. And at that juncture, if the clinic over there in Bradford doesn't give me a batch of buttonhole needles, then I'm going to have to go back to the regular old sticky in the arm, sharp needles, which I'm not looking forward to. I can do it. It's no fun, but I can do it. They have said that they had ordered me a batch of the blunt needles, blunt being that they don't have that razor edge on them, so they can go through your flesh. I've got those 2 holes in my arm that are, lack of a better description, they're like a pierced ear on a woman. And if you can, you don't need a razor sharp needle. You take the buttonhole needles, what they call dull, and I can do that myself. So I hope before this next week is out that they come through. They said they've ordered them. Of course, it's the second time they've said they've ordered them. So hope this time they make good. But whatever. Don't know if you noticed my new fedora here, but one of my Amish friends up here bought this for me. Evidently, now my wife never did like the one with the squared off top. When I buy these straws, I get them at the Army-Navy store in Cleburne, Texas, Siegel South. You folks up north, guys down south don't know where it's at. And when I usually buy it with the crown like this, and when I went in this year, they had them, but they were so big I could put 2 of my heads in them, and it wouldn't work, so I was stuck with the flat top. I kind of got used to it, but nobody else liked it. Anyway, Uri Raber a friend of mine. We took him and his wife last week. In fact, you've seen, I'm sure if you follow my Facebook site, you've seen some of the pictures I took down in Ohio in the Amish store. And one of the things that happened while we were down there, Yuri bought me this hat. And my wife said, "That's good, that's better." So the other one's been relegated to lawn mowing and work type details, and this my dress hat. What do you think, huh? I guess it's alright, it looks a little more Texican. It appears that the Amish up here are surprised. Most men in this area do not wear this type of hat. When I was a young man, all men wore hats. My dad wore a hat. Not too awfully different than this. It was different. It had a crown, and it had two pinch points up here in the front, and of course it was made, I think, out of felt. And all men just wore hats. So I grew up in an environment where, you wore a hat, and it's been my habit. Usually I go outdoors and I put one on, and over the years I discovered these down south, relatively inexpensive. I like the way they look, put them on. Well, anyway, Amish, as you probably know, the men, once they marry, they grow a beard and they wear a straw hat. Not too much different than this. So here I come with my straw hat and my beard, and they have a name for old farts. Let's see, what was it? Dotties. If you're an elder citizen, you're called a dottie. I don't know, that's German for grandpa or something, dottie. And this is a hoot. It's not a hat, it's a hoot. So they've taken to calling me Hoot Dottie. I guess it's because it's unique. By the way, I've got a dog down here at my knee that wants to play ball. Yeah, I mentioned the name. Her eyes just shot at me, and I told her I would in a little while, but I wanted to do this first. And she is down there trying to distract me. Anyway, get down. Go away for now. Anyway, Hoot Dottie has become my part-time name up here at Yankee North. So let's see what else. Weather's just fabulous. I have read on the web, you hear about global warming. Well, I'm one of your atypical liberal Democrat socialist. So it's in the nature of things that when my guys come out and they say there's global warming, I take them at their word. They must know they're honest people. They're not a bunch of perverticators like those dirty Nazi Republicans, so they must know what they're talking about. Well, it seems that in the last, I saw a chart, there have been hot periods like this year out in California. They set a record. I think it was 134 degrees. The all-time record of forever evidently is 138 or 135. But out of Death Valley at Furnace Springs, I think it was, in California this year, they got up to 134, which was the second hottest day in the history of mankind. So you'd think, okay, global warming. But it turns out that if you chart the global temperatures for the last 10 years, it's been going the other way. It's been getting cooler. And what we're experiencing this year, I'm almost inclined to agree with them, because we did have 4 or 5 days where it got up in the high 80s, low 90s, but then boy, it went away. And it's very comfortable. I mean, today, I could go and put on a jacket and I would be a little more comfortable than I am, but the highs have been like 73, 74, and That's pretty cool, even for here. So maybe they're right. Maybe we're going into another ice age in lieu of the global warming. I don't guess I know. One of the things probably going to happen when I try to shut this thing off, my remote battery's evidently gone dead. So, and I got this thing going, got the little record thing, but I had to do it manually up here on this, you know, on your camera. You got this little thing flips out, it's got your picture there, and you see myself now, my hands up there and all that. And then there's a little row of buttons across the top, which don't say a blessed thing. They're just buttons. Yeah. One says OK. The other says menu. And then there's three in the middle that doesn't say a darn thing. Well, one of them will start the record and stop the record. And I have the foggiest idea which one it is. So when I finish my little dissertation today, you're probably going to see me fumbling across there trying to get this thing to shut down. Brought a prospective new member in here today. There were some people sitting at the gate when we came back from Jamestown, couldn't get in. And to the residents, to the seasonals, they issue this card. Plastic things in the car. Got one for each car. And there's a gate out there. It looks like a very similar to the gate you see on a railroad crossing. You can come up and there's a plastic hoodie out there, and you take the card and you hold it up to the hoodie, and it goes bloop, and the gate goes up and you come in. Well, you don't have a card to hit the hoodie with, you don't get in. That's not completely true in that a lot of times they just leave it up so anybody can drive in, but they get on a tear once in a while. Today they had it to where the gates are down. It's no deal. Anyway, there's a prospective customer that might want to be a seasonal. They're up at the office now. I let them in. I would have thought that the powers that be would have answered the phone and let them in, but yeah, you know, I got there ahead of them, I guess. For those of you that remember, and have Dawn, if you watch this, I was looking through my pictures the other day, and in my pictures I have a photo of Dale's headstone. That's a little premature, but it does seem impossible to me that as of 22nd of November this year, he will have been gone 4 years. It's unbelievable. Man, I expected to outlive him. I expected to die before him. Dale was always the kind of guy, he ate the right food. He walked straight. I mean, he was a very disciplined fella, and I was, you know, devil-may-care, flighty, and I expected that Dale would outlive me many years. Well, he didn't. And as of 22nd of this November, he will have been dead 4 years. Doesn't seem possible. And in keeping in vein with that, Jim Kersey watches this. He's going to know what I'm talking about because I talked to Jim about it. My story for today is going to be about a little hooliganism that me and Dale pulled years ago when we were in our teens. You guys here at Siegel North know that years ago when Halloween came, you know, Don Stahl's dad used to put out a case of toilet paper so he could toilet paper the town. He's sitting out there. Yeah, we used to have a good time. Really not some of the malicious stuff that's done now, but we didn't go out and raise a little hell. I mean, I remember I discovered my dad was a county sheriff, and he used to have these sanitizer. They were glass jars with an atomizer on the top of them. And Dale and I discovered pretty early on.
Oh, Brian?
Did a few.
I haven't talked to him here lately. Richard tried him yesterday. And Dale evidently he hadn't paid his phone bill or something.
Who are you talking to, babe?
I'm talking to brother.
Okay. Anyway, Dale and I discovered that if you, the thing was Court?
Here just a second. He's out on the porch.
Yeah, I'm doing something right now. I'll have to call him back. No, I can't. I cannot stop this. I've got somebody on the phone. And anyway, we took some lighter fluid and some kerosene, proper mixture. And this thing had it didn't have a plastic top like what you see today. This had a brass top pump on it, you know. Well, if you took the little brass nozzle and you screwed it just right, you get this stream of this stuff that would fly up. Hold a match in front of it. Whoosh, flamethrower. I mean, who could want a flamethrower? Me and Dale did. We Halloween, we used to go out. We would get next to people's windows if they were watching TV or something. You shoot this pillar of fire past their window. We even we got a lot on fire up by the Catholic parsonage one time, and that caused we didn't do it anymore. We were afraid we were going to burn the town down, so we quit doing that. And I don't know that my dad was ever aware of who was going around with the flamethrower, but one of the Halloweens, Dale had discovered that if you took a 10-penny nail, big spike, and some rosin, and a piece of chalk line, good rough chalk line, you tie the chalk line on the bottom of the nail, and you find a house with clapboards, which, you know, most houses with wood had clapboards on them. Stick the nail up underneath the clapboard, pull that chalk line up, and stroke the rosin on it. It'd make the whole house vibrate. I mean, brr, brr, loud too. Well, we were out doing our thing one Halloween. We got down on, Jim, you're going to have to correct me on this, 6th Street, 9th, it wasn't 9th, but it was down there in the vicinity of the old athletic field here at Siegel North. And his grandfather, Jim's grandfather, lived in the house. We didn't know who he was. Yeah, that's not incorrect. I believe we might have known who he was. But anyway, I remember he had a window that was big enough we could see he was in there watching TV. Dale goes up, he slips up. So of course, we're in the dark outside. And he slips that nail inside of that house, pulls that thing, rub, 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 man, old man in there. We found out later he had a heart condition. Jumps up, heading for the door. We snatched that nail out, and I want to say that the old man came out with a shotgun. That could be, that's my memory, you know. 50, 60 years, you know, it's a long time. Anyway, me and Dale take off up between the houses, running. All blacked out, used to black your face, wear black stuff so nobody could see you. And we're running along. And all of a sudden I hear, and this set of feet come up beside my head. And it was Dale. And what happened was Dale was a lot taller than me. He was 6 foot, a little more. I was 5'7". And I had run under a clothesline. Okay. Well, that thing was right at the right height. And it caught Dale right here under the nose. And that hook was Dale, you know, hooking him. And his feet came up right there, you know, like I say, beside me. And then I heard, and he lands flat on his back, you know. Bam. Well, I got to close that door. I have got to close that door. This is not working. You're louder than me. Okay, I kind of cut Mama off there. Anyway, the crux of the thing is that we got our comeuppance. I don't know if his grandpa was ever aware of the fact that we were still out there in the yard. Look at that, Adele, get up there, get up. Bloody nose, man. Gasping for breath. Let that be a lesson to you. Scare an old man. His clothesline's going to get you. Anywho, I think that'll have to be the story for the day. Where I put my names here, I got a list of my best friends. I got another one here that I want to tell about me and my roommate Keith and how we ruined a little gal's reputation, but I'll save that till next week. I think I was off a week, and it's been so nice, and we've been so busy that just couldn't find the time, but we will. If you're watching, I want to say hi to my buddy Bill Peacock down there. Bill's having a hard time down in his health is giving him what for. He's still hanging in there though, so keep it up, Bill. Not going to get into any politics today. Not much going on politically that I'm interested in. Most of those scandals that they were laying on Obama, they pretty well shut up about. You don't hear about that embassy anymore. Things have kind of quieted down. I'm glad. So Brian, try to call you on the phone, guy. Yeah, I have a lot of luck. I'll try later tonight. Crystal, top of the day, you. My son's Kyle tomorrow. Kyle, I understand that Jerry's coming up to get you. I think he said the 10th. I'm going to move to Texas. I'm ambivalent about that. But, never know. Tracy, once again, saw your picture today. Have you lost some weight? I saw that picture and you said you had dinner with your friend. Swear to doggone, you look slimmer. Heights and Raider, if you buy it, top of the day. Ike, went and shaved your head again. I was pretty thrilled. I thought, well, gonna have some hair. Glenn, Daryl Mackey, Tyler, Jim Kersey. Hope you don't hate us too much for scaring you. I believe it was your grandpa. Yeah, kids will be kids. And I'll do this, of course, another week or so. I think I'm 10 days this time. It's been a while. But like I say, been so busy that kind of let her slip. But all my friends out there, top of the day, hope you have a good week, and we'll be back. Here's my buddy.